Hey everybody, welcome back to the Speedy's Garage YouTube channel. Today we've got a new toy we're going to start playing with, and it's a HPTuners module. We had been using the HPTuners MPVI, and like most technologies, as things advance they get smaller and more powerful. So we've got a new unit from them that's an upgrade. We're going to take a look at that. And I like any excuse to use this pocket knife. So what we've got is an MPVI2. And as you can see, compared to the MPVI, much smaller. It's basically the size of one of those OBD2 reader tools that you see sometimes that connect up to cell phones. Now we decided to go with the Pro version, which includes cables so that we can read analog sensors. Now in our Hellcat we won't need those, but if we're helping Greg, our crew chief Greg, with his car, he's got a wideband in there, and this cable will allow us to read his wideband air-fuel ratio or lambda, whichever we choose to use, and put that right straight into the log rather than having to do it separately. So let's take a look at what we got. So there's where our connector is going to go to the laptop. That's a USB cable, and they include that as well. Here's our analog input cable. And I think, I did a little reading on this, I think blue is analog input 1, red is analog input 2. One of these is like a CAN bus input, and then obviously black's gonna be ground. So I'm gonna have to figure out some kind of connector for these two. I'm probably gonna use one and ground so that it's versatile. I think Greg has the old stereo connector, and I may put a quick connect on here and then have another one that goes to like a stereo connector, and then it'll give me some versatility. If I want to connect up to different cars to read the analog data, I can do that. But that's basically what it looks like. It's just a cable with some electronics built in. Got a lanyard, some stickers, like stickers. You must resync your device. I need to look at that. I don't know what that means. First use, download and install the latest VCM suite. Okay, MPVI2 device drivers are also available. We'll need to do that. Connect your MPVI2 device to your PC, open VCM editor, select help and resync interface. Your MPVI2 is now ready for use. So we're going to have to go through that, check out the registering and all of that. So the nice thing about these, and I think I've mentioned this before, is now they've gone to a credit model where you just buy credits, and it doesn't matter if it's a Ford, Chevy, Dodge, whatever they support. You just buy credits for this guy, and you can tune vehicles with this tool. Doesn't matter the brand, and the credits are not specific, and then they always send the USB key with software on it. That's kind of a nice touch. It's pretty cool. And then here is our USB cable, and it's USB-C, so it's nice and modern. No more serial cable like is on the old tool. Glad to see them going to something modern. Most of these tools use a USB type connection, or I'm sorry, a serial type connection. It's nice to see them go to USB-C, and it would just plug in like that. This then goes into our laptop, and we should be off to the races. So we're gonna try to get that thing synced up, get it ready to rock and roll. So with my laptop, I didn't even have to download the MPBI2 drivers. It just worked. I've got Windows 10, and it connected right up, found the device. You saw we went in and registered it. So now we're gonna go over here to Go Man Go and make sure we can load our tune. And you plug the MPVI2 into the OBD2 port. You notice I've already got the USB cable connected. No different than the MPVI. Then you plug the other end, and I've got an adapter on my USB cable because my laptop only has USB-C, but if you have regular USB, the bigger end, you won't need that, but I do. Just plug the other end into your laptop. And next I'm going to key the ignition on, but I'm not going to start the car. Now we're going to come over to the laptop. We're going to fire up the VCM editor. I'm going to open my tune file. I'm going to make sure I can write it. Okay, so try number one, the write failed. It was referencing a license.dat file. I just Googled the error message, and it was basically unlicensed vehicle, but this tool has credits on it. So there's a license.dat in your My Documents folder, HPTuners, I think it's the settings. So I went and renamed that to license.dat_BAK. That's supposed to fix the problem. We're going to try again, see if it'll write this vehicle. Aha, there we go. That did it. Show license options. We're going to license this car and the transmission and say okay. Are you sure? Absolutely. And now we should be able to write. There we go. That was easy. Okay, with the tune loaded, I always like to do a little test. Fire up. Make sure everything's good to go. No check engine lights, no funny noises, everything looks good. So we got success. And I definitely like the small form factor and the smaller cable that goes over to the laptop. The other one wasn't really terribly in the way, but this one's much better. And it takes almost no room up in the glove box. So that's what's involved in setting up your MPVI2 or converting from the former MPVI to the MPVI2. Pretty simple, as you saw. It did give us it barked at us when we tried to load the tune in the car, and it told us that we needed to go activate the licenses, which were already on the tool itself. So that's what we did. Super easy, took about 30 seconds, and then we got the vehicle tuned with the MPVI2 now. So now let's go out, do a little bit of data logging, see how that does. All right, we got HPTuners connected up to the VCM scanner, connected to the new MPVI2. We'll fire the car up. Connect up the scanner.
This members with collectible can.
Make sure we start getting some data. We got stuff, so that's good news. We're going to go do a little data log just to make sure everything works like it should. And I always like to test stuff after I get it installed to make sure I don't have any problems. I always test it at home before I get to the track or out, you know, doing something important where I really need it to work. I always want to make sure it works properly ahead of time. So always test everything when you make changes. Mention that I have noticed about using the VCM scanner software. I like to get a lot of data, and Mike from OST Dyno has shared with me some config files, and he likes a lot of data too. Things like transmission shift pressures, what mode the transmission is in, all the temperature stuff that you need to know about, air fuel or lambda, all of that stuff. And what I started noticing is as I added items to the PID list, I started noticing I would see some lag. So it would be collecting data, and then like the RPM needle might freeze for a minute and then skip. And it especially affected me at the track because I was making some passes at the track, and I wanted to see, you know, how clean the shifts were, what RPMs the shift were occurring. And what it started to do is it would clip some of the RPM range. So it would go up and it would flatten off and then shift, and it would go up and flatten off and then shift again. And at first we thought it might be the transmission flaring or something of that nature. Well, I went in and started removing some of the PIDs that we don't use all the time and shorten the list, and I watched that shift and everything get much more clean. So keep that in mind if you're data logging a lot of PIDs in the software. And it's not a limitation of the software. I actually wondered if it might have been a limitation to the original MPVI, but the MPVI2 was doing it as well now that I've done some testing with it. So what I've done is I've set up a channels file that I feel pretty good about. It's got almost everything in it that I want to see. Maybe some transmission stuff is removed because we've got that pretty well sorted. And what I can do is if I ever need to know about those transmission items, I'll just have to remove some of the other engine items and put the transmission items back in, and then just have two channel files. And I'll know one is for looking at transmission data and one is looking at engine data. So keep that in mind if you're data logging and you start to see some hesitation. Pedal it there a little bit. And have I mentioned lately how much I love this car? I freaking love this car. It's fast, it's comfortable, and it's got a ton of style and character. You can't ask for more than that. So one thing I'm sure you have a question about is what is the difference between an MPVI2 standard and an MPVI2 Pro? Well, the Pro comes with the analog input cable, as I mentioned before, and supposedly there's going to be some future enhancements to the device, and they're firmware or software enhancements, not actual physical device changes. So you just download a new piece of software, and it's supposed to enable some things like Bluetooth logging, for example. If you have sensors that are Bluetooth, there's some that can feed the sensor. Fly on there. Get out of here, fly. Jeez. And then also you're supposed to be able to do some actually onboard data logging on the device. You can just plug it into your OBD2 port. I guess you pre-configure it through the VCM scanner software. And this is all, like I said, kind of vaporware at this point. They haven't actually released it yet. These are just things I've kind of read about online. But what will be nice when they actually enable those features is you should be able to just plug the MPBI2 into your OBD2 port, tell it to start logging, and now you don't need the laptop anymore. You can go make your passes at the track. You don't have a laptop in the car, and when you get back to the pits, you pull your MPVI2 out, connect it up to your laptop, and download the log. I believe they do have 8 gigabytes of onboard memory, so that's quite a bit of data logging capacity. So hopefully they rush that to market. I would really like to see those features enabled, but that's the big difference between the standard and the Pro. And while we're on the subject of future enhancements, it would be super nice if we could have the MPVI2 feed something like a cell phone, for example, and a cell phone application, and actually have a windshield or dash mounted monitor that we can look at. So HPTuners, I hope you're listening. But for now, I'm just going to throw the analog cable in the box with all the other automotive cables that I have. As you can see, I've been doing this stuff for a while. That's what's involved in loading up an MPVI2 or converting from an MPVI to an MPVI2. We got the latest firmware update. We got Go on the latest technology, so he's all good to go. I hope you liked the video. Please give it a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. That helps me get these out into the YouTube algorithms and helps me get more subscribers, and I really appreciate you guys that do that. Be sure to check us out on Instagram. It's at Speedy's_garage. I do post a little teaser pic of what the next week's video is going to be about on Instagram, so check it out if you're interested in that. Be sure to check out our website, www.speedysgarage.net, and hopefully I'll see you out there.